AI agents are shifting from experimental tools to major API consumers, changing how developers price and secure their endpoints. This is Models and Agents, episode 151. PYMNTS reports agents now drive significant API traffic as businesses deploy them for routine transactions. Several RIXIV papers detail concrete gains in reasoning speed, style control, and domain-specific deployment. Builders should watch agent reliability patterns and test new inference optimizations this week. AI agents are becoming the API economy's largest new customer segment, with businesses routing increasing volumes of calls through autonomous systems rather than human users. The shift forces API providers to rethink rate limits, authentication, and pricing tiers originally designed for interactive human traffic. PYMNTS notes agents handle repetitive, high-frequency tasks that previously required manual orchestration. Developers gain predictable usage patterns but must add safeguards against coordinated or unexpected agent behavior. Watch for updated documentation and SDKs that expose agent-specific endpoints. Remember, we covered agent frameworks yesterday. Today's news moves that forward because agents are now driving API usage at scale. One model internalizes complex business workflows into a single model via continual pre-training and logic compilation (SFT). It replaces modular pipelines of router, planner, and executor components. Deployed in a global financial service system, it cut end-to-end latency from 18.7 seconds to 8.0 seconds. The intelligent resolution rate rose from 64.3% to 83.3%. The approach trades brittle engineering logic for internalized cognitive intuition. TriPLU replaces gated FFN branches with a degree 3 product-only branch that multiplies 3 projected streams coordinate-wise in tiny decoder-only models. On character-level TinyStories, it reached 1.0637 validation loss versus 1.1017 for matched Swiglu. Gains appear under low learning rate, fixed budget regimes but remain optimization sensitive. Self-speculation for faster reasoning models uses partial chain of thought distributions as drafter and full budget distributions as verifier within the same model. It delivers up to 24.1% relative reduction in total generation latency on Qwen 3.5 and Gemma 4 for structured tasks. Suffix decoding further recovers useful spans beyond the accepted prefix. Graft introduces target distilled edge scoring and state-aware budget allocation for diffusion language model draft trees. It achieves 2.13 times to 6.36 times end-to-end speedup over autoregressive decoding with under 0.5 milliseconds overhead per round. The method is most useful when the drafter produces high lexical overlap with the target. VADPO steers Llama 3.18b instruct to continuous valence arousal targets. It cuts mean distance to target by 33% over system prompting and 25% over few shot while preserving MMLU, HelloSwag, and truthful QA scores. The method keeps only candidate pairs whose Euclidean distance gap exceeds margin tau before applying standard DPO loss. Libra decouples vision and language systems connected by cross-modal bridges. It uses switch attention and switch FFN modules to route computation between self-modal and cross-modal paths. Libra 1 targets understanding-only image to text, while Libra 2 adds text-to-image generation. Ansari is a retrieval-grounded Islamic AI assistant that has processed over 140,000 conversations across 25-plus languages since June 23. It issues searches only against authenticated Qur'an, Hadith, Fiqh, and Tafsir corpora before answering with citations. It tops the public Islamic MMLU leaderboard and resists false premises on Islamic legal bench. Intent Engine translates natural language intents into validated SLO artifacts for compute continuum service placement. With GPT 4.1 Mini, it reached 0.941 total F1 and reduced downstream placement failure from 30.8% to 2.1%. It cut aggregate hallucination by 85.1%. Edit PPT reformulates slide editing as constrained tool selection against the native PowerPoint COM interface. On Deck Edit Bench with 28 decks and 582 slides, It achieved 99.5% execution rate and 88.7% slide targeting F1. Evaluation as search adaptively probes meeting assistant grounding fidelity by learning from evaluator feedback. It surfaces 2.5 times more failures than random probing across 3,000 plus question-answer pairs from 3 meeting genres. CoreWeave, Nebius, Lambda, Crusoe, and Grok now publish live rate cards, Q2 2026 financials, contracted gigawatts, and semi-analysis cluster max tiers. Nebius posts the lowest H100 rate and the only published B300 price. Lambda offers the cheapest B200, while Crusoe alone lists AMD GPUs. CoreWeave charges a 10 to 15% premium as the sole platinum-rated provider. Figures were verified August 21, 2026. ASTAR uses an LLM-based pipeline to induce standardized radiology reporting templates from 4,215 fetal brain MRI reports. It outperforms 2 expert-curated templates on coverage, information fidelity, diagnostic fidelity, and usability. PolyInstruct TTS trains on a 1,000-hour instruction-annotated corpus covering 1,000 plus fine-grained emotions and styles extracted from in-the-wild audiovisual data. A prompt-free GPT with attribute-based thinking tokens plus flow-matching timbre injection enables open-ended instruction control. The 10,000-pair telecom customer care dataset provides 26.82 hours of 24 kHz synthetic Bengali speech with normalized transcripts. A domain-adapted whisper model reports 2.54% average WER and 0.59% average CER. Okay, let's pop the hood on speculative decoding with internal drafts. Everyone talks about speculative decoding as if it simply adds a smaller model that guesses tokens ahead. In practice, it requires careful alignment between drafter and target distributions so that accepted prefixes remain semantically coherent rather than just locally probable. The core insight is that later partial reasoning traces already contain high lexical overlap with the final answer. Using the model's own intermediate states as the drafter exploits that overlap without training an extra network. This approach adds almost no extra parameters, yet still needs suffix caching to recover non-contiguous matches that standard prefix acceptance would miss. The latency win scales with how structured the output is. Long-form reasoning or code shows the largest gains. When your workload already produces long, internally consistent traces and you control the full model weights, internal self-speculation beats external drafters on both cost and simplicity. The gotcha that bites most teams is assuming the speedup will hold once output diversity increases. Monitor acceptance length per task rather than average latency alone. Test one model style internalization on your own SOP-heavy workflow to see whether latency drops below the 18-second baseline reported for financial services. Run graphed draft tree construction on a long-form generation task with Qwen 3.5 or Gemma 4 and measure the 2 times to 6 times speedup range against your current autoregressive setup. Compare VA-DPO steering against few-shot prompting for any application that needs continuous affect control rather than discrete emotion labels. Download the 10,000-pair Bengali telecom dataset and fine-tune a whisper variant to check whether 2.54% WER holds on your own customer care audio. More GPU neoclouds are expected to publish B200 and B300 rates as contracted power figures are updated quarterly. Additional RIXIV submissions on agentic retrieval and grounded generation are likely to appear before the next major conference cycle. Before we go, watch for fresh acceptance length diagnostics on open-weight reasoning models as teams release their next batch of results. That's models and agents for today. If you found this useful, share it with someone who's trying to keep up with all these changes, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's update. The AI world moves fast. We'll help you keep up. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. One more thing, if you liked today's episode, our sister show First Principles Daily is worth a spot in your feed. Reasoning from raw materials, not analogy, on the breakthroughs that actually cut cost. It's one of the Nera Network's daily briefings, all free at neranetwork.com. New to the network? NeuroNetwork.com, start here, picks the right daily briefing for you in about 2 minutes. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.